Happy Wednesday and welcome to another episode of Herspiration Happy Hour Season 6. We have Cortina that's not in the house, but you know what? And Luisa will be joining us soon, but I'm still ready for some cocktails and conversation. Are you ready?
I am definitely ready.
Well, let's get it cracking.
Boom.
Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? With your host, the unapologetic diva, Dr. G, the girlfriend therapist, Dr. Cortina Lewis, the Blue Phoenix Heels, Louisa Harrell, and the networking extraordinaire, Diana Richardson Philippus.
Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? This is Herspiration Happy Hour.
Woo! I know, girl, I'm telling you, I'll be in the background getting my oh my gosh, it is Wednesday. I feel like it should be Friday already. And this weather, look, I don't know whether to pull out a sweater, short sleeves, okay, whatever else is going on. And I'm in Alabama, so I'm not, it's been cold, it's been hot, there's been like tornado warnings, and I just learned that there was something called tornado season. Like I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Tornado season is a real thing.
Yeah, it's
every
a real
year.
thing, but I absolutely did not know. Now, I think because I've always been East Coast, that there's always only been hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that tornadoes happen a lot in the central, especially because my mom is in Alabama, but it just ripped through Kansas. Was it Kansas right now? It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, oh, so there is such a thing. And literally when tornado season ends, hurricane season
starts.
So it's kind of weird. I don't know. How's your week been so far?
Whew, it's going good. It's going good. I'm just coming off the heels of my first Spring Palooza event, our pop-up expo. We just had that at the Perimeter Mall here in Atlanta, Saturday and Sunday. It was epic. It was so wonderful. My vendors showed up and showed out. We turned Perimeter Mall all the way out. It'll never be the same since the Empowered Women Empower Expos blew through there. And, I went straight from that right into my food drive for the Rolling Fork community out in Mississippi, who were impacted by the tornadoes that hit on March 24th. And I can't impress upon people enough that while, yes, this did happen on March 24th, the efforts are still going on. These people in these communities, it isn't just Rolling Fork, but I focus mainly on Rolling Fork, Mississippi, because they are poverty in an extremely impoverished community, predominantly Black community. And while the news may not be talking about it anymore, and it's not a headline, these people are still in need. So I have been, even from last week, I've been so many donations, let me just start. I'm exhausted to say the least. And as soon as we get done with this podcast, I still got to go and get more of the donations for this community. So yeah, that's my life right now. And next week I head on to Houston for the Spring Palooza Houston.
Okay, where is that going to be at?
That is going to be at the Share Space venue at 1120 Naylor Street in downtown Houston. If anybody in Houston is watching, please come through there. We about to tear Houston up, okay? Empowered Women Empower is coming, and my vendors is ready, and I'm ready too. So yes, we hitting Houston, and we about to do the thing.
I know the feeling. This has been, so I've not been home in 2.5 weeks now. Between painting my mom's house and working as much as I can when I'm not painting, just trying to get everything ready for my event. That's, oh gosh, it's coming so quickly. On May 13th, I have the kickoff for the 2023 Brown Girl and Brown Boy Kids Red Carpet Book Tour and Literacy Festival. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm adding so many different things. I partnered with the Bean Path, and that's where it's going to be at in Jackson, Mississippi. And this is the second year that I'm hosting in Jackson because one, Jackson asked me originally to come out. One of my sponsors that's in Jackson, Steven, he was like, "You got to bring that to Jackson. I'm gonna support you." And that's one of the things that's most important when you don't know an area, but you have somebody that believes in what you're doing for the kids, and it's a free event. I mean, there are VIP options that come with different things as well as a book. But I mean, and you brought your nieces to the one when I hosted in Atlanta. And
I did.
We turned up in Houston. Oh, those kids I was tired. We was dancing and carrying on. I'm telling you, we was dancing and carrying on. And this year I wanted to make it bigger. So I added several different components onto it. So there'll be kid karaoke out there. We always have virtual reality. Anyhow, there's face painting, there's gardening. I'm looking also to add a few other little things out there in Jackson. So definitely come out. And if because it's so kid friendly. And if you're a children's book author and you want to be on a tour, it is not too late to get registered. And you could just, hit me up on the DM or at bgblit.org, because it's under the nonprofit now. But it's so much fun. I think for me, events, there's so much work that go into it, but the fun that you have during it, that you forget how much work goes into it. I don't know about you, but that happened to me. I don't know about you, but that happens for me, is that once the event and I'm full in the swing of it, I'm having so much fun that I forget how much work I just did to create the vision that I want for my events.
Absolutely. When you're in the thrust of it, once you're done planning and the event is actually going on, that's called, being fully engaged. And you're looking at the fruits of your labor, and it's a beautiful thing. It truly is. I'm the same way. Well, you've seen me in action, so prior to the event, we talk about it all the time. It's all glitz and glamour when you show up, but many don't understand the behind the scenes and all of the different moving parts that it takes to make an event successful. I mean, and there are a plethora of moving parts. Yeah. I mean, I start sweating. Look, start sweating, getting flustered thinking about it. I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. But, like I always say, when God puts you on assignment, you do what you have to do. You do.
Oh, definitely. And me and you talked about that earlier when you, it's not just to have an event on your own, because like the one that we just did in Atlanta, no, you still had vendors. You had a few vendors out there, but you do host some things that are very, that don't have any vendors. Those sometimes are a little bit easier, but it still takes a lot of prep work behind the scenes. But when you start including and you get inclusive with people to say, okay, would you like to come along with this journey? And there's an investment with it. People forget what that investment is for. And we had that conversation earlier of what, it's not all about immediately making your money back, because you should be able to sell yourself once you're out somewhere. But the investment is having somewhere really nice to vend and bringing in people to vend that you would have not normally had. I mean, you're paying for tables, chairs, a shared space. So you're investing in the event as well. So, as somebody who hosts events, even with a small investment for other people, it still costs a lot of money on my end. I'm paying out significantly more. So I think people need to get out of the mindset that they should just be able to come out and vend for free, because the amount of money that we are actually investing is a very small fraction. They're just showing up and popping up and saying, okay, let me just put my stuff together. We're behind the scenes with marketing, with setup, with outreach, with, looking for sponsors and phone calls and all of the different things that it takes to make
all of the contractual obligations and things like that it takes.
Legal stuff, paying attorneys and contracts and insurance. Exactly. So there's just a ton of things that people don't see, because all they do is show up and set up.
Absolutely. Well, I, we talk about this very candidly, and I wholeheartedly agree. And I like to say oftentimes, everybody has a lane, you know. So
Mhm.
we're in a different lane. Me personally, I too was a vendor, you know. So I understand both sides of it, but I can honestly say when I was vending, I paid or would pay $500+ to be in a room.
Yeah.
And I had no problem with that because one, I'm going to sell myself along with my brand. And two, you know, I am there to network. See, it's all about the mindset. If I'd never sold anything, there is somebody in this room that I could learn something from, and that could be my investment
Yeah.
that I paid. That will be well worth my investment that I paid. So I always tell vendors, when I'm doing my events and even when I'm doing my conferences, you know, be mindful of who you are in the room with. Very mindful. You may not think this person sitting next to you is anybody.
Yeah.
You could completely just disregard a person, but you should get to know every single person. In my events, I tell vendors all the time, exchange business cards,
Yeah.
talk to each other, follow up with each other. People, it's mindset. It's mindset. And I think that a lot of people, and small business owners, and even, some major business owner, you have to really delve into your mindset and change it. And you'll see a difference in
Yeah.
yourself and in your business.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like 100%. Completely agree. But
Absolutely.
I think that the main message here is I'm like you. I've made $500 investments. I've made $250 investments, and I think the most that I've walked away with was not the fact that I sold out. It was the connections that I made that will elevate me to make twice as much, and have twice as much, and put me in other rooms that became customers and clients and all of those things. So to me, the value was not to, or and sometimes the mission is not even to sell out or to sell. It's who is in this room that I can now, that can now become a collaboration, a partner, an advocate, somebody that can connect me with someone who needs someone like me. So there are so many different reasons why I choose to either vend or even pay to show up somewhere, pay for a conference. This is how I met you. Wasn't even planning on going. I was like, negative. But
Me either.
I went and I've established a sisterhood with you, and I made connections with people there who have become a part of my success tribe.
Absolutely.
But so I want to, our guest is here tonight, and I'm really excited to talk to her. And she's coming right in with the whole better you. We have Sheniqua Johnson joining us, and she's an international TEDx speaker, a best-selling author, a media and wellness expert. She's the CEO of A Better You, where she specializes in helping busy moms. You heard that, busy moms take care of themselves so that they can live their best lives mentally, physically, spiritually, and
Yeah.
financially, so they can continue to love and lead their families. So the
Mm.
rest, I'm going to let her introduce herself the rest of the way, even though I probably don't say a whole lot, but we're going to bring her up here anyhow. Hello, hello.
Hey.
Hey, ladies. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Wednesday. Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
Look at her. I'm trying to figure out what I did
I'm
with my
drinking ginger ale. Look, I'm drinking ginger ale, but cheers. Yes.
Good
I had
choice.
a
Good
I
choice.
had a beer earlier, but I don't know. I'm drinking it, but I was also cooking, and I don't know where I put it. I don't have water
Nice.
with me right now.
Well, listen, don't let me fool anybody with this because this looks real cute. It looks like I got something real nice up in here. But this is some vitamin C, you guys.
Hey, mocktail.
Oh, that's right. Get
I am
into it.
a registered nurse by profession. I was like, we ain't gonna get up here and be pretending like we drinking something. We're gonna put some vitamin C. It's late. We need vitamin C in our system with a little zinc. I got a little chase of zinc in here. Let's just say it like
Come on.
that. So,
Well,
I
we
need
always
some of what you drinking.
I
yes.
know. So what we do anyhow here is that, well, Louisa had, I guess, issues with her daughter, so she had to pop off for a little bit. But one thing we do here, we didn't have our signature drink for the day, but we also give a cocktail and a mocktail because we do advocate for sobriety here. I know I went dry for like 45 days or something like that. So we're glad that you are still sipping. That's all that
Yes,
matters.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't
And I
matter
put it
what's
in
in
a
the glass.
It put it in a fancy glass, right? You can drink your water like this. You can drink your
Yes.
tea, your milk. You put it in a fancy glass and it makes you feel like you're doing something. So it
Trust
still
me.
gives you that little glamour, and you can feel all ladylike and sip whatever you choose to sip.
Okay.
I
Well,
love it. I love it.
Miss Sheniqua, tell everybody what I did not share. Tell everybody about yourself, and then I want to talk about what inspired a better you, because I don't know if that's going to be a part of it, but that's such a strong mission, especially talking to moms about self-care, because they tend to forget about themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, professionally speaking, I am Sheniqua Johnson, RN. I've been a registered nurse for 21 plus years. I've also served in academia and I've trained over uh, close to about 3,000 of today's registered nurses. So that's something that I'm very proud of, that I'm able to lend my voice, lend my hand in the healthcare industry. But I'm also a mother. I have two, I don't know why these kids grow so fast. I really don't. I have a 20-year-old and I have a 16, soon to be 17-year-old. And I'm telling you, life was so different when they were little, and as they get older and older, it just kind of transforms and it morphs into just a whole new life. But honestly, I'm enjoying every moment of it, and I am the epitome of a busy mom, from going back to school to get my master's degree, all while going through a divorce. I said I picked the greatest time in America to go back to school, right in the middle of a tumultuous divorce, when we're going back and forth to court. But it was just something that was in my heart to do. And I've always been the type of person that if you tell me I can't do something,
Mhm.
I'm going to put every effort into proving you wrong. So, where I had to give a dissertation as to why I wanted to go back to school and how it would benefit the family, once that connection was dissolved, it was like, girl, let's do this. Let's show the world what we can do. And I've just kept my head, to the ground, and I just keep going. And that's what brings me here today. And I'm excited about the work that I do for busy mothers. And I guess I had to go through that period in my life where I was busy and felt like I was pulled here, there, and everywhere, in order to be able to know what it feels like, and then to offer that help to those busy moms, because we want to be present for our children, but we also don't want to give up our dreams, our aspirations, the things that we were birthed to do. So it's not just motherhood at times. So I just help to support them mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that they can reconnect with themselves while still serving and loving the world 100%. But you don't have to subtract anything from yourself anymore. Those days are over. Those are over.
Absolutely.
And look, I think that's general for whether you're a mom or not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do. I think because we are such givers,
Yes.
and we give to spouses and families and cousins and friends, and
Mhm.
we tend to kind of forget about ourselves sometimes.
Yes.
And so I think, whether, because Diana, her businesses are her babies, and she's a dog mom. That's just like having kids. By the way, you
Yes.
don't look like you should even have a 17 and a 20-year-old. I'm just saying.
I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that. Like, girl, come on.
I thought she was about to say like 9 or 10 years old. I'm
Me
like, hey,
too. Me too. I thought you had toddlers or something. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, I
And you know
want
what?
to know. So, how do you teach your women or your mothers, like,
Mhm.
how do you teach them that balance? How do you teach them how to create that balance for themselves? Because it's really a sensitive topic, and it's hard to maneuver through, especially when you've been in that mode for so long. It's hard to break. I mean, even for myself, I don't have children, human children, but with my fur babies and my husband, who I like to call, that's my son, you know, um,
Shh, we won't tell
don't
them,
tell me about,
Mom.
but, you know, there's expectations that come with that. And when you begin trying to shift, um, to do things to you that are gratifying to yourself,
Mhm.
along with still being present for those whom you love, and still meet those. I hate to call them expectations, but let's just be real. There are certain expectations, I know with me, as I progressed forward, with my visions and my businesses, it became, it was a lot of tension for me with that, to the point where I would start getting mad.
Mhm.
Not at my business though, like I would get mad at them. Like,
Yeah.
and they weren't even saying anything, but it was just that expectation that I knew that I needed to do this, and I was stretched so thin, and I didn't know how to say I can't,
Mhm.
you know. I guess afraid of letting them down, or letting him down, and my family too. No, I can't do that. So for me personally, I had to learn the power of no.
Absolutely. And that's the key. And ideally what I do is, and it really is very simple. I give women permission to
Mm,
choose themselves, because
that's a whole
otherwise
word.
they forget to do that. They will choose their children, they will choose their spouse, they will choose their job. Everything else gets chosen, but they forget that it is okay to choose yourself. And just because I choose Sheniqua doesn't mean that I'm not going to take care of this person or that person, like I'm going to neglect my responsibilities. But I do get to choose me. Just like when you're in a relationship, hopefully you've chosen the person you want to be in a relationship with, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage. You have made the choice, and that's what makes that other person feel really good, that they were chosen. But
Hmm.
now we've just got to turn it around, and we now have to choose ourselves. So just
Mm,
because I'm a mom doesn't mean that I have to put my wants, my needs on the back burner. Now, that was true when they were 6 months old and they couldn't fend for themselves, or even at 2, where they still needed my guidance and nurturing. But right now, I can parent my older children, and I don't have to be in their face constantly. So I
mm,
had to learn to give myself permission to choose me on a given day. And because, like, the saying, happy wife,
happy
happy
life.
life, right? So everybody is happy. The spouse is happy. The people at work are happy, because if you come to work and you're bubbly and you're happy, everybody in the office is happy. So it pays to choose yourself, and that's one of the major lessons that I like to teach women who sit under my programs, just to let them know, it's like, girl, it's okay to choose you,
Hmm. And
and
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
make you
mean.
selfish.
Exactly, because that mommy guilt, that womanhood guilt, oh, that joint is real.
Yes,
It
it
is
is.
so real. Like, you don't even want to, you feel guilty when you're outside the house. I remember there was a time when I used to go to church on Sunday. Child, I came home, I didn't feel all redeemed and set free. I felt guilty, like, wow, I really just walked away from my children, my family,
Mm,
and it was literally just for a couple of hours, but that guilt is
mhm,
real. So we have to learn how
Yeah.
to forgive ourselves, and to say that it's okay to choose you.
mm,
I think the other part is that sometimes we don't know any other way
Mhm.
until we receive that. So what you're given to women is that to take back that power is something that they probably they've never had the power to have.
Right.
And I talk about the power of I always say the power of I gets me to understanding the power of no. Only way I can tell you no is if I'm comfortable with who I am. So I choose me first. And as long as I choose me and take care of me mentally, physically, and emotionally, I can comfortably say no without feeling guilt, because I have to take care of me in order to be whatever it is to somebody else.
That's right.
Absolutely.
For mentally. But I've learned in my walk is that there are things that I'm going through even right now that I've never encountered before. So to me, it's like, how dare this happen to me? And my mom is like, girl, please, that happens to everybody. Everybody goes through it. But it's because it's never happened to me. I've never had anything in place for it to understand how to cope, how to deal. And so it's new, if that makes sense. So what you're given to these women are a tool that's going to give them power for them to understand that, okay, now you have to choose you, and here's what choosing you looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now I got a question, because so you have a better you. You're working with moms. Media. You went author, television, podcast, totally opposite from RN.
Yes.
and helping moms take care of themselves. When did this shift happen, and what happened that say, I think I want to go into media?
Yes. And you know what? This all does stem back to me getting giving myself permission to choose me. So as a registered nurse, people, when they meet me and they hear that I'm a registered nurse, they think I'm sitting in someone's hospital and I'm doing that bedside nursing. Yeah, I did that in the very beginning. But what I had to learn through that is that I can transition. So I went from being at the bedside, then I went into home care, then I went into education. I've done some long-term care as well. So I've been able to evolve as a registered nurse. So I've given myself permission and the freedom to be able to do nursing in any way in which I describe it. So it doesn't have to be defined by the four walls of a facility. I get to say, well, you know what? Now I want to do nursing via a better you. So we're going to have online courses. I'm going to give wellness tips and physical tips on, for people to take better charge over their health. So I get to do nursing in a different capacity. I started my writing journey in 2015. When I finally just answered the call to write what it is that I was hearing. And I wrote my very first book, I Didn't Know My Own Strength, How My Faith Moved My Mountains. And I tell you, writing that book was a challenge for me, because I had to learn to sit still. And I also had to learn to trust my intuition. And it's God. That's what it is. I had to learn to trust what I was hearing, what I was feeling, those emotions that I was picking up. I had to learn to trust with that. And with that, I was able to tell a portion of my story because there was a time where I didn't feel strong, but things got done. I made it through the divorce. I made it through graduate school, being a single mom. I've managed the household and the mortgage and everything in between. But when you're not really looking at it, you really feel like you're very weak. You don't know how the day is going to turn out. But I had to discover and tap into my inner strength. From there, I just kept writing. I just kept hearing more. So from that one step in being obedient and writing what it was that I was hearing, I just kept hearing more. It was like the floodgates just kept opening up, and I just began to write more. And then I wanted to start to tap into the power of my spoken words. So, podcasting, you all are here doing a podcast. That's a great way to get your message, your just the things that your downloads that you're getting. It's a great way for you to reach the masses, because that's been my ultimate goal. How can I reach the greatest amount of people, have the greatest impact on individuals, but don't have to be here, there, everywhere physically? And that's what the media has has helped me to do. So I literally use media and its industry, being social media, being books, being podcasts, television shows. I've actually learned how to use that to get my message of wellness, of mental clarity, and building your energy. Like my messages that I have, I've actually been able to use one to help spark the other, or to get the other messages out. So I think media is a great industry. And if 2020 didn't show us something, I mean, I hope we learned something from it, because Lord knows we don't want to have to go through that no more. But what it showed us is that there is this industry that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So we need to embrace it, and we can utilize it to help get whatever our message is. So if you are a dog whisperer, if you are, a bartender, if you are, a woman who has a story, the media is a great way for you to get your message out to millions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said, and so true. I do believe that, we do need to utilize media for its full benefit. Me personally, I probably could utilize it a little bit more. If I could
Me
just
both.
slow down for 5 seconds to do that. But very well said. And I really agree with you. I really agree.
Oh yeah, I hate social media. Ugh.
Oh, but it's so helpful.
I didn't say it wasn't helpful. It's just so time
helpful.
consuming. It's just so time consuming. Yeah, I tell you, I commend anybody who can, do all of these reels and all of that other stuff. By the time I'm done working, I want to check out. I don't want to be on my phone. I don't want to do anything. But I'm literally writing all day long. The last thing I want to do is sit here and then, let me write this. No, I just don't feel like it.
No, you take what you've already written and you slice it down. So that's the beauty of it. Like,
I don't write for myself. I can't. It's proprietary. The stuff that I write is proprietary.
Okay.
When I say I'm a full-time writer, I own a content writing company. So I'm a technical content copy and media writer. So I am writing for other people that does not belong to me, including social media captions. How about that?
Nice. So now you have to hire somebody to write your stuff.
That part, right?
Nice.
So when you say, or maybe I don't know, I might have been mishearing this. You said slice it down, take it and slice it. Can we delve a little bit more into that? Because I do use social media, especially when I'm hosting my events and things like that. It's very important that I keep and stay with my online presence, because that's how you get the word out.
All right, so here we go. We take your event. Now, I don't know if you're the type of person who maybe writes out what you're going to say, or like an outline or something, or if you have the event videotape, right? So you get up there, you're speaking from your heart, whatever's in your heart, you're just letting it come out. All right, someone records it. Now you take what was recorded and you listen to it back. You said some good nuggets. You dropped some heavy hitters. Now just go back and just pick those up. So if you said, it's really important for women to love themselves. Self-love is the way to go. There's your quote. Put your name next to it. Put it on a cute little graphic, and ta-da, there's one thing.
She said ta-da.
Ta-da,
I love it. I love it.
Then that video, so say the video is an hour long and you're just pouring and you're just moving and shaking and going on, cut it down. So you can cut it down into, say, 30-minute segments. You put them on YouTube. You cut that 30-minute segment down into something even smaller. You do it a minute. Yeah, I think you can even do 90 seconds now. And there you have a reel, right? You can get on your phone talking about what you just talked about in the video. Hey, everybody. Sheniqua Inspires here. I just did an amazing, I'll do one tonight. Hey, I just got off, doing an amazing podcast with these super bad sisters. And we talked about under 60 seconds. Boom. There's my reel.
I like it.
You make that, you know what? It makes that sound so easy.
Yeah.
She
Like,
does. She got me ready to do a reel when we get off. I'm ready to do a
yeah.
reel as soon as we get
I
off of
was just
here.
thinking that, like, oh, this doesn't take
I'm
long at
telling
all.
you. I'm telling you, and that's one of the messages that I speak from, how to maximize your impact. We don't have no time to be sitting. I hear you. We don't have time to be sitting on social media, engaging into. We don't have time for all of that. But I'm telling you, it's where people are at. And
Yeah.
if you take the time, if you devote the time, not a whole lot of time, because I don't have a whole lot of time, but a little bit of time, if you can say at least 30 minutes out of a day where you can get on, you can engage, you can post, you've already said some good stuff. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts here. Y'all done dropped mad nuggets. Where's the content? That's the content. We
Yeah.
make content think like it's this thing that we have to sit down and let me ponder. And no, you've already said it. Just go back and get it. If you're
I
an
like that.
author, you got a whole book full of content. What are you talking about? You don't have nothing to say. You just wrote 12 chapters. Break it down
Get me
into
together.
little bite
Get me all
size.
the way together, honey.
I
Get
do
me
that.
together.
I've
Yeah.
done that. I've definitely done that.
Mhm.
But yeah, sometimes I'm just particular. I mean, for
I
my
get it.
events, my events and stuff, I do post, but
Mhm.
I'm finally cross pollinating brands because I was
Yes.
not doing that at first. Now I'll
Yes.
post like my podcast, but I will say this: even if I don't post something physical to stay, I try to post in my stories at least every day. I
Absolutely.
post something. I'm engaging in my stories consistently. So, I mean, and my a lot of times my social media posts be like blogs because it's informational because that's the nature of my brand. But yeah, I'm just horrible with the reels.
And see, and
Unless
I'm bad with stories.
oh no, I'll
I
story
do
to
not
death.
do stories
Yeah.
like that.
I will
I'd
story
rather
to
do a
death.
reel.
I'll
Okay.
story to death. I'm like, oh, let me just repost and add some little things to it. And then sometimes I have content, and then I'm like, I got to figure out a good caption for this. And then it goes by. Next, the day goes by because I get busy. I get
Yeah.
super busy. And as a writer, and you can't really have things break in that concentration. So when I'm writing, I'm just writing, and I leave one writing project to another writing project. So it's sometimes I don't feel like I can even come up for breath at 30 minutes out of the day until I'm logging off at 6-7 o'clock in the evening. And I don't feel like it then. I'm like, oh no, I've been writing and whatnot all day. And then I'm looking like a hot hell mess.
It'd be that part for me. I was like, if I'm not at an event, this is me. This is me. I be sitting up here on this couch
look,
trying to
hair didn't act
decompress.
right. Look, hair
That's
didn't
all
act right
right.
today.
Look,
Look,
y'all
hair
don't even know what's under here. Y'all don't want to know what's under here.
this was literally pinned back about 20 minutes before the podcast because I looked at myself. I said, "Oh, this conditioner didn't do right." So let me just because I just have conditioner in it. So of course I gelled it. I put some edge control in it and slicked it back. And I'm like, okay, however it looks, that's how I'm gonna look. I'm a pop up on here.
That's
And
right.
that's why when you are dolled up at your event, whatever it is that you're doing, you went out for the day, you put a little makeup on, you take all the videos, you take all the pictures, and the day where your conditioner is not acting right, you just gonna repurpose them pictures that you took. Listen,
Oh, I do that.
It's just to keep the algorithm satisfied, right? They
Yeah.
don't care if you're using the same picture over. Child, just put something. And those stories is prime real estate. So if you
Really?
miss putting something in your story, you miss an opportunity to get, eyes on whatever it is that you're doing. You could put a picture of your dog up and put a caption about your event. Like, it's just about getting the viewership.
Yeah.
So
How many stories should you do a week? Because I do post and I do reels, but I very
Girl, I do 6,
rarely do
7
a story
sometimes.
unless somebody tags me.
It runs for 24 hours. So just think of it like it's like ad space. So if you're having an event, every single 24 hours, you should be throwing a picture up of your event.
Oh
Girl,
no, I
you
don't
got
do
me
that.
ready
But
to close this down and put a picture up right now.
I think
this
I'm gonna have
second.
to do that now. But I mean, I do repost a lot of my stuff in my stories, but I post sometimes 7 or 8 different stories a day.
You can.
Only because if I'm
Real
online and I'm looking at different things, I'm like, oh, that's funny. Let me post this. Oh, I like this. Whatever they're saying, different news things that are that I'm writing about or getting ready to write about for one of the outlets. I'll be posting stuff like that on there. Because I share a lot of stuff, but that's just to keep the engagement, because I know I don't have time to post every single day, and I'm intentional about how I post and what I actually post. But I feel like the stories is that's my playground.
Yes.
I'll put it like that. The stories is my playground, and so I don't lose traction even if I'm not posting, because every day I'm posting at least at a minimum three different stories. I try, that's what I try for.
Well,
and all it is stealing from
tomorrow.
somebody else. All it is stealing from someone
That's
else. And
it.
you can write your own little things on it, add the little funny parts to it.
Yep.
And let it run.
Easy peasy. I even started doing a morning declaration. So I just wake up in the morning and I say, either an affirmation statement. I am phenomenal. I am a phenomenal woman. # morning declaration. Child, they eat that up. They love that. And what does it do? It boosts your engagement. So when it is that I have something of importance that I want to say, now it's the attention is on my page. So it takes very, very little effort. And that's what I want to impress upon, everyone who's listening. It doesn't take as much effort as we'd like to think. It is, even with reels, you can use pictures now as reels.
I do that.
Like throw some.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to.
I did that on my last post. I think it was just a picture, and I made it into a reel. So I put music behind it. Oh no, that wasn't the last post. The last post, it was maybe the post before, because the last post I did was me finding my dress, my whole weekend of little festivities, finding my wedding dress. So it's like, let me just throw that on there. Because what I do realize is that people like weddings and babies.
They sure do. And dogs.
Yes. And dogs. You said the word right. And dogs.
And dogs. Yes, exactly. So whenever I post about anything regarding my wedding, oh my God, I get all these congratulations, and I get so much feedback. Let me post something else. I'm like, they're just like, okay, let me just like this. But the real engagement with them writing back is almost always have to do with my wedding.
Yes.
And sports.
Oh yeah, sports.
When I was doing my reels about the sports, I was like, y'all sure got a lot to say. I mean, they went in. It's still going on. I'm like, it's over. It's April. Y'all commenting on the same post from, what was it? January, February.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Use that engagement, girl. Use it.
Yes.
So quick question, because I know we're getting towards the end of the time. Is that thunder? I'm sorry, y'all, because we're supposed to be getting a bad storm, but all I heard was like a bunch of rumbling. I had to make sure my mother didn't fall or nothing.
Oh wow.
Somebody didn't fall. Oh, I know she just walked past, but that's when I started hearing it. I'm like, what the? Yeah, that's really strange. Okay. Anyhow, so before we go, I want to talk about your Sisterly Sundays podcast and your Black Girl Encourage Her podcast. What made you, or they're both podcasts, what made you decide, like, let me start one, and what does each one talk about?
Okay, absolutely. So Sisterly Sundays podcast actually started out as Sisterly Sundays with Sheniqua on Facebook. So it was a Facebook Live segment that I used to do, where when I started it, I was supposed to give 7 minutes of inspiration and motivation to help you get through your week. But it started getting good, and people were tuning in, and the spirit started talking to me, and so it ended up being like a 30-minute segment, and I call it my ministry. So I literally would take whatever I had watched over the weekend, and most of the time it was a Disney movie, because I love Disney movies, and I was getting revelation, and I would simply get on the line and share the revelation. I did a segment where I had traveled. The Lord had allowed me to go to Los Angeles, and I was getting so much download from a simple trip to Los Angeles, and I just started to release that. So it started out as a Facebook Live segment, and I did that for like 5 years. Like I was really going heavy with it, but I just kept saying I wanted more. Like there's got to be more than, 30, 40 views on Facebook. There's got to be more. So then the Lord was like, well, do what you do best. So I turned it into a book. So I have Sicily Sundays with Sheniqua, Volume 1. It's a book. So what I literally did was I took my segments and I transcribed it. Come on, somebody. I transcribed it, put it in a book. Ta-da. Now I've got extra content, right? And now that content goes further than that Facebook Live was going. The book is in Australia. The book is in, different other countries. So now I'm able to get my message there. But again, I always want more. That's always my MO. You give me an inch, I want it all. So
I know that's right.
Then that's when the idea of a podcast came up. It was like, well, girl, put it on the podcast circuits and let that thing run and do what it's going to do over there. I even re-recorded some of the things and put some new stuff to it and put it on YouTube. So I'm gaining traction on my YouTube channel, Sheniqua Inspires, with that podcast being over there. Then one day, it was probably like a Wednesday night. I was minding my business. I was in my bed. Lights was off. I'm curled up, ready to get in that spot. And I heard the Black girl encourage her. I was like, huh? And that was going to be now my podcast where I bring guests on, like into this, but we usually do like a one-on-one, and we do encouragement. So I bring my guests on, and I actually spun it out from the Black girl encourage her. I have the Black girl motivate her. And currently right now for the month of April, we're doing the Black girl inspire her, where I bring on guests and they deliver the goods, the encouragement, the motivation, the inspiration, just to keep people going. You know why? Because we're so busy. We get so overwhelmed. We get so self-centered, like we're so focused on what it is that we're doing, we're grinding, that we start to burn our own selves out. So I feel like if you get to tune into a podcast and you hear some words of inspiration, you might learn something, you might find a new way of doing things, that it keeps you motivated so that you can continue to grind and hustle and do all the things that you're doing in life without burning yourself out. So I'm super proud of my podcast. It is very time consuming. And I know you all understand that. It's very time consuming trying to do this, that, and then another bright idea comes in and you're like, wait a second. But it's all on my YouTube channel, Sheniqua Inspires. Like it's there. Like, so I just want to have stuff there. So when people stumble upon me, when they hear my name, they've got some good. And I'm not just saying this. This stuff is really, really good. Like I brought my friends in and I'm like, yo, y'all showing all the way out. And I literally grew my YouTube channel that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started out with I don't even know how many people I had, like 40, 50 people. And over the past couple of months, I've jumped up into the 200s.
Yes.
That's not bad for some
Showing.
organic reach, but that's the power of media. That's an example of the power of media. So we get to utilize that to keep pushing our message forward.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Love it, love it, love it. That's how we are. We're now really growing the YouTube channel for here, because we stream on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch. We get the downloads are great. Then when we started visual, that's when I said, well, you know what, it's time to grow the, our YouTube channel. And I'm grateful it's grown some. I'd like to see it grow some more, but
Absolutely.
this is new territory. And part of it is that they can see it right here on YouTube, on Facebook, which is where a lot of people are. And then, but our downloads are plentiful. That's where people are so used to us. It's 6 seasons. They're like, hey, they already have it on rotation to automatically download. Now it's like, come on over here to watch us live.
Yeah. Nice.
And so, but it to me, I think growth is growth, and authentic growth is what really, really matters. And I'm so grateful that you have all of these podcasts that help people grow. So I'm good, definitely I'm going to have to tune in so I can get me some nuggets. Lord knows I always need them.
Absolutely. And I would love it that if we all stay connected. Because listen, you guys can come and rock on my show. Like, we can share the love. We can share the love.
Yes,
let me know. I'm all about that.
As they say, we are better together. There's strength in numbers.
It takes a village, as I like to say.
And this is the key. This is another little nugget for growing your platform. When you also say, for instance, I'm here on your show. My name is now on the search. And so anybody looking for your show, they're going to have my name come up. YouTube is going to look like, oh, here her name go again. And then it's now going to bring more people over to my side. So the same is true. You all come individually over onto it now brings, they're going to be like, who, the Herspiration, what? And it now brings more attention. I don't know how it does it. Listen, I'm not trying to get all in the background, the AI and all that. I'm not trying to do all of that, but for somehow it does it. And it makes you trend. So the more shows you can get on, you start to trend, and then it helps your own platform. So I'm always, anytime I'm on anybody's platform, I'm like, yo, you can come, we can do this on my side. And just to share the love, just to keep that algorithm going, to keep our names trending, so that we can get our message out there. Like, that's why we're here, putting the time and the effort and the energy into this. Yes, it's fun and it's nice, but there's an underlying message that we want to reach the masses. So we've got to do whatever it takes to get it out there.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree. And thank you so much for coming on and dropping all those nuggets. So, tell everybody where they can find you again, and get to your podcast and all of, everything, your training academy for moms, which I think you should let some other women into, but I'm just saying, I'm not a mom.
Listen, it really does boil down to busy women. Because we get busy doing a lot of stuff. So busy women, come on, just come follow me and let's see what we have. I have a lot of courses on mental health, anxiety, depression, burnout, because I think a lot of people, they know what it is, but they don't really know what it is. So I use that nursing side of me to really teach it. And, they can find information. That's a betteryou.org. They can get more information on that. But you can follow me everywhere on social media at Sheniqua Inspires. I try to make it simple. So on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you can catch my podcast, Cicely Sundays podcast, The Black Girl Encourage Her. And you got to say it like that. You got to put a little sass in it. The Black Girl Encourage Her, Black Girl Motivate Her, Black Girl Inspire Her. Like, we're just doing it all. And it's just from a Black girl's perspective. We're not ostracizing anyone. We're just saying that we get to have our perspective be heard. And I do bring on men and women of different shades. And it is just about us celebrating who we are and getting that inspiration out. So I would love it if you all would just follow me, subscribe, like, all that good stuff that they tell you to do on social media. Listen, I follow back, so it's all good.
Well, I followed you. I'm a fan. And Diana and I always talk about, networking and just being a sister support. And and you're very right. I will say this before I let you go. Even though your audience, it's predominantly, hey, it's like giving us a platform to have our own wordings and speeches and, just our own feelings and emotions and thoughts. What I will say is, for other cultures or nationalities or races or whatever you want to call it, you can't advocate for something you don't know about. So utilize those platforms, any platforms, to educate yourself about Black culture, because you can't advocate what you don't know about, and you can't assume. You can't assume that we all need the same thing, but it'll give you a much wider perspective. And I share that with a lot of the people that I've come into contact with over my book, Black Girl Activist. And they're like, well, can white people read it? White people should read it. Absolutely. Because you can't, you don't know. You don't know the struggle. You don't know what we need, and stop insinuating because of stereotypical things that come up in media. You know, you be where the voices are. That's all I'll say. Yeah. And that goes for anybody. I think, you know, knowledge is power. You know, otherwise, you know, if we're not sharing it, it's just information. The whole purpose of knowledge is that we have an opportunity to educate. We have an opportunity to build. So I'm grateful for what you're doing, but you definitely, I'm going to be following. So I'm going to take some of these little nuggets right now and probably do an after reel, maybe if I have to, you know, at some point in time tonight.
I challenge each and every one of you to do.
I'm doing a story. I'm going to do a couple stories tonight on both of my pages.
Good job. Good job.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay connected with us for sure. Yes. Definitely want to come onto your podcast and see how we can also support you.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great weekend. Easter's coming up. Hopefully, you know, you have something great planned with the family, but stay amazing and stay being an icon and creating this legacy and doorway for women. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, ladies, for the opportunity. And it was fantastic chatting with you. I feel like I know you all by now.
Comfortable. I like it.
I know. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All righty. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. You too.
All righty. I just love energy like that. It's so beautiful.
Yes, so beautiful. Awesome.
Look, I'm gonna have to step my game up though with these reels and whatnot.
Yeah,
I'm about to do a story ASAP because I got plenty of stuff to dump in a story. I need to be doing something. Today was wow. But I gotta get ready to skedaddle in a minute because I gotta go pick up some more donations.
I know. So Louisa, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me on Herspiration Happy Hour. You can find me there on Wednesdays. But you can find me at the Blue Phoenix Hills everywhere. And I do make reels and I make stories and I make posts, but mainly for our shows. So I need to work on doing it for other stuff too.
That's right.
For sure. Diana, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Diana Richardson Philippus, and that will funnel you through to my other pages, such as at EWE, which is Empowered Women Empower.
All right. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Dr. P. Gurley, as well as the BGBB Kids Red Carpet. Like I said, it kicks off in Jackson on May 13th. And then the Brown Girl, Brown Boy series, which is my kids book series. And for, of course, Herspiration Happy Hour. Heck, if you're here and you're watching, you know where to find us at on Herspiration Happy Hour on Facebook and Instagram, and then Herspiration HH on Twitter and YouTube, of course, is our Herspiration Happy Hour. Follow, connect. Come on. If you would like to be on the show, I almost forgot about this one. If you would like to be featured on the show, you can go to herspirationhh.as.me to be on the show. We always welcome you. Come have some cocktails and conversations or mocktails and conversation. And we'll be here next Wednesday. I think, let me make sure that if there's a guest, because they're starting to pile up. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. We have Nicole Ellis next week on the show. I was gonna say, I know I had like a couple of people back to back. It's just I didn't change the color. So I need to definitely do that. So I can make sure and put that. But Diana, I know you have to run. I'm getting ready to run also. Louisa, this is your week. Okay, well, you all have a great rest of the week. Happy Easter. I will see you all next week right here. Let's see. Hold up, y'all. Let me get this to right. So, of course, as we always say, cheers.
This is Herspiration Happy Hour.